Good morning or good afternoon, friends. It looks like we're live and ready to do a little bit of crafting today. So thank you if you are joining me here today live. And if you are coming on later to watch the replay, please let me know and tell me where you're from. Also, tell me what your favorite Christmas candy is. When I was a young girl, one of the fun things I did with my older cousin each Friday after Thanksgiving was we would go our parents would drop us off on one end of the St. George Boulevard at the Hearst Bend Franklin, and then we would go Christmas shopping all the way down the street, clear down to the old it was a Christmas cottage, as I would think what it was called. The Christmas cottage was where we would go to pick an ornament for that year that we collected each year, and then we were ready for the Christmas season. And one of the favorite treats that I loved having was one of these. Yes, love them or hate them. Do you love or hate these cordial cherries? This was one of my favorite treats. I loved, loved, loved. So that is what we're going to use today. And I found these little treats. Of course, I'd get a whole big box, but these little treats I found at the Dollar Tree, it's a set of 3 pieces of the cherry cordials that just, for me, screams Christmas, Merry Christmas. Or in this case, we're going to do a very cherry Christmas. So let's do a little bit. Let's see if this will work. Oh, maybe not. Maybe this one will work. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit closer. So we're going to be just decorating this really simply, and hopefully it will give you some ideas. Sometimes you see something and you just need a little bit of packaging. It's amazing what a little good packaging, a little good presentation can do for a gift. So this one's going to be a fun one. This Framed and Festive stamp set is available only while supplies last and until January 4th. It's part of the now suddenly I just forgot the name of it, but the early release set. This is kind of a special one that you can have just for a little while. So if you love this, I love beautiful sentiments, and this is one of my favorites for the season. So we're going to change though. This one says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." We're going to change it to say, "Have yourself a cherry little Christmas," to go on top of our cherries. So let me show you how we're going to do that. I'm starting with a piece of garden green cardstock that is 2 1/8 inches wide by 2 1/4 inches tall. It's pretty easy to make those. You can switch it this way, but then it's just a little bit too wide. So make sure that you have the shortest side going side to side. Okay. Then we're going to stamp it and emboss it on this pretty paper. I'm going to do it towards the top. Stamp it towards the top. And if it's a little bit screw-wampusy, it looks beautiful. Then we can always turn it over and do the other side, right? There's 2 sides to every piece of cardstock. Embossing, heat embossing is such a wow, but so simple to do. Sometimes people go, wow, I didn't realize it was so simple. It does help to have this little tray is some of our embossing essentials, I think is what it's called, these embossing essentials pack. It includes these little tweezers and a paintbrush for you to get off any extra embossing powder, as well as an embossing buddy that you can rub on especially dark colored paper like black. Will help you to avoid those little stray pieces. Now I'm going to emboss with my heat gun, turning it on. So if you hear that sound, that's what you're hearing. Let's see if we can get it close enough so that you can see the change. And I'm going to go from the bottom side. And once this heats up, you're going to see that magic. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Just change magically. I like the tweezers to keep my fingers from getting burned. And you keep your heat gun moving too. So we've got that all beautifully heated up, and it's a raised image now, and it's ready to go. So we're going to do one more little piece of stamping and embossing. Let me wash off my stamp. Doesn't even have to be really, I need to turn it over. Turn over my chamois. Okay, so I haven't seen anybody who've told me, do you love or hate cherry cordials? For me, totally Christmas. What we're going to do now is you can use washi tape. In this case, I'm actually just using regular tape, and I'm going to cover up the words around the CH in Christmas, or the stamp around the CH in Christmas. Just like that. And on a piece of real red, we're going to stamp. Oh, wait, I'm going to stamp it. It's a good thing I didn't do that. Into the white ink, then take off the tape that has the extra white on it. Stamp it onto your paper, and again, we'll emboss this piece as well. So now we just are getting the CH, and here's where your little, I think I left it over there, but your little thing might come in handy to kind of sweep off the paintbrush would come in handy to sweep off the extra pieces. So there you go. This little handy holder, this one right for this one, Bev, is that your question? This little handy holder is our embossing essentials, and it's so nice because after you are done putting your embossing powder on there, then you can just dump it right back into the container. This is, I think it's called Embossing Additions. Embossing, I'll have to find it out, but you can search embossing on my store, creativejuicebylonnie.com, and it will show, and it will come up. Okay, so we've got these two have the powder on it, and we'll heat this one up too. Oh, holding the paper, that one comes also in that same kit. That is a little pair of reverse tweezers is what it's called. A pair of reverse tweezers. So instead of squeezing them to close them, you squeeze them to open, and then they automatically stay shut when you are using them. Thank you for letting me know which part you're looking for. Okay, so now what I've got is my cherry punch. This is the cherry punch, and you don't even need the coordinating stamp set for this one. And you don't even really, you could do this same idea with a piece of, you could just do this on another piece of green, garden green cardstock, and just cover it up if you wanted to and cut it out. But in this case, I'm going to use this and cut out the CH clear to the right-hand side right here. While we've got this here, let's also punch out at least a stem and one leaf from Garden Green. Okay. All right, we're almost done. I told you this was a very simple project. I have a 4-inch by 1.5-inch piece of Designer Series paper. It can be any red and white Designer Series paper. Just happens to work perfectly for Christmas. I'm going to flag this end by cutting up the middle first, and then cutting from each side to that point where I cut up to the center. You've got one little flag. This one's going to go on the top of that like this. So we're going to do the same thing. Cut a little piece up the center of your bottom of your cardstock from each corner to the top of where you cut that in. So it's going to go like this. Okay, ready. Now we're going to just cover this up, and it does say that you can kind of see this M right here, but it's okay because it almost looks like this cherry is going to go all the way down here. No problems. Find my adhesive. The H in cherry looks like it just extends below it. So now it says, have yourself a, let's get that up here so it looks like, have yourself a cherry little Christmas. I am an alto. Okay, moving my tape that seems to be stuck here. There we go. I don't usually clean up because I make a mess, more of a mess than I do otherwise. Okay, make sure that your fingers are cleaned, because how many times have you picked up something with, inky fingers and then ruined it? Then we're just simply going to put this on the front here. We're going to fold it over the top of our cute little container with 3 little cherry cordials in it from the Dollar Tree. I'll add a little bit of adhesive about halfway up. Oh, and it's very sticky adhesive, so we want to make sure we get it right where we want it. There we go. We'll add a stem to our cherry with a glue dot. And of course, a leaf. So this one says, have yourself a cherry little Christmas now. Isn't that a fun way to kind of extend the use of your, and you don't even have to put this cherry on. Oh, whoops, I lost my glue dot somewhere. There it is. You could just do green. Oh, wow, that's really not coming off. Another green piece. And I'm going to put this on this side so that I can put it on this way. Now, if I wanted to, I could even add a little bit of a bow. Let me bring this back up here close. So this one is a different piece of Designer Series paper, but look how cute that is. So again, just found these at the Dollar Tree. Now you could get the big box and maybe make a belly band around the whole box and use this same little type of tag on the front of the whole box with a little cherry. Have yourself a cherry little Christmas. Just kind of a fun way. Now, another thing, I forget that I was going to show you this. Another way, when you're stamping the original one, if you don't like this M that comes down here that looks like an extension of your H, one thing you can do, of course, when you are stamping the original, the first part is, let's just get another piece of tape. Why even mess with it? Why even mess with it? Is just cover up that M, just like we did with the rest of it. So when you're stamping, we'll use this little piece right here. When you're stamping your original onto the first piece, which I forgot to do, just cover up that M, stamp it in your ink pad, take your tape off. I'm going to move that up a little bit so I can use this one again. And now you don't have that M. See how that masking technique works? Now you just have yourself an airy little Christmas. So again, you could then do the CH from Christmas again and put that right over the top. So it says, have yourself a cherry little Christmas. I just thought it was such a cute thing. I may have to go buy a few more of these and sell them at our craft fair this weekend, because I think that's pretty darn cute. I do think that's pretty darn cute. So you'll be looking at all sorts of things at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or wherever you shop in a different way, because you'll have some fun ways. You'll be getting those cylinders, your creative juice flowing through your head. You'll be saying, now, how can I just dress that up a little bit and give that again as a gift? So I hope that gives you some ideas for a very simple gift for your coworkers, maybe a class that you teach, perhaps your neighbors, somebody that you minister to. So just a fun little gift. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back next Monday. If you need any of these supplies, you can shop at creativejuicebylonnie.com. If you are interested in getting the 2023 mini catalog and celebration brochure in the mail next month, make sure that you message me so that I can get your address on our mailing list before the 30th of November. All right. Talk to you soon.